If you have a friend that's like plat or diamond and they're just sitting there like, man, this game is all luck. Every single game I play, I just low roll. There's nothing I could have done. Just show them this video, man. Welcome back to another Alvado video. Now I have an absolute monster video for you guys today. But before we get into the game, I need to set the scene. I want you to understand exactly what makes this game in particular so special. Now, if you look at the names of the players in this lobby on the right, you may have already realized that this was one of the games that was played in the final day on the final lobby of the Defender Cup. I did a video covering a game of Cottontails, the winner of the Defender Cup. Maybe I'll put that video here. We're not here to talk about Cottontails today, we're here to talk about Dishsoap and his storyline. In order for him to win this tournament, he would need to not only be playing out of his mind, but he would also need the stars to align. He's rank 1 for a reason, and there's 2 games left to be played in the final day of the final event, and he ended up getting first in the first game, and what we're about to watch here is the second and final game of the tournament, which I can only describe to you as the Mona Lisa of TFT games. Now that I've set the scene, we can start talking about the game. We started Rod, and he got dropped another Rod. Only those 2 components, that's an econ opener. I'll talk about his augment selection in a second, but first, we need to talk about this, his admin. He's able to find a LeBlanc. You can see he's going crazy here. Because the theme of this video is that he needs to play for first, right? That's the whole point of this tournament. He's not trying to end up in 5th place in this tournament. He's not trying to end up in 4th place in this tournament. He wants that big bag. He's trying to end up in first. And if you do not know, that admin is extremely broken right now. Especially in AP comps, especially for LeBlanc. And that's exactly what he's playing around. He has 2 rods. And I'll get into why this admin is so strong later in the game when I can talk about how he's going to abuse it. So first, let me talk about his first augment. I do not remember what the other ones were. I think it was like Salvage Bin and Knife's Edge. But either way, Exiles is one of the strongest augments in the game right now. Normally, Exiles is one of those augments where it's generally bad if Exiles positioning, like default Exiles positioning is not good. And then it's a really good augment when Exiles positioning is your default positioning, which it is in the current state of this game. If you want to be positioning your units, you should just have them not next to each other anyways. So Exiles gives you that extra HP shield, and since you should be positioning your units like this anyways, and here we see the first of many long-term decisions made by Dishsoap. He goes for belt off of carousel instead of tier. Now the reason behind that is because he wants to go for a full damage build on LeBlanc. He thinks that tier items are not that good when he has the admins gain 40 mana on ally death. He does not want to get this tier and then end up getting another tier and having to make a mana item, because the item is just not as important as other items. And belt is extremely flexible, so he chooses to just go for the 2-cost belt instead of the 1-cost tier. We can see that there are 3 people streaking in the lobby, but he's not dumb. He's not going to make a decision, like even though he needs to win the game, he needs to get a first. He's not going to do something stupid like level here and ruin his economy just to try and get this win. He's just going to have to pray that he wins the round, and that's basically it. The thing is, he has laser core, he has this really broken admin. There's a good chance that he would win the round anyways, and he ends up winning. So his spot is pretty good to contest this first, but of course, this is just stage 2. There's so many more things that have to happen for him to end up winning the game. You can see here, he chooses to take out the laser core units and he puts in these 2 Camille's, because if there's ever a situation where he gets gold and he can sell his other units to make another econ threshold, then he then can do that. And that's exactly what happens. He benched his units that he does not care about, and he puts the units on his board that he does care about, these Camille's. And the reason why he cares about these Camille's so much is because of the second augment. He's trying to make sure that his board is tailored properly just in case a hero augment shows up. What happens if he chooses to keep laser core on this turn and the hero augment is 2-cost, 2-cost, 3-cost, and the 3-cost hero that he sees is Senna because he has Laser Core in and not LeBlanc. I'll tell you what happens. He definitely doesn't go first. He's going to do everything in his power to make sure that he has the highest chance of winning this game, so he does not include Laser Core on his final board, or on his board when he's tailoring when he wants to get a specific augment. Now, of course, the hero augment doesn't happen here, but that's not like that's not a good reason for you to not tailor your board. You need to play for every out you possibly can. And speaking about outs, we have the second crazy thing that he does to guarantee the best way of him winning this game. He tailors his board for Tome. Now, if you don't know how Tome works, I'm going to pause the video very quickly, try and help you understand, because it's pretty complicated and I don't want to miss anything for the rest of the game. So take a look at the traits that he has on the left side. Admin, Prankster, Hacker, Anima Squad, Spellslinger, Brawler, Renegade, Gadgeteen. Tome is not like a hero augment. Hero augment utilizes the traits that you have active, but Tome uses every trait that you have on the left side there. Now, if you have 5 or less traits, then that means 0 out of 4 of the emblems that you see in the Tome are going to be traits on the left side, and they will all be random. If you have 6 or 7 traits, then 1 of the emblems will be tailored. If you have 8 or 9 traits, then 2 of them will be tailored. And if you have 10 or 11 traits, then 3 of them will be tailored. And then if you have 12, you'll have 4 tailored, but the thing is, it's really hard to get 12 in. So most of the time, people end up going for either 6 or 7, 8 or 9, or 10 or 11. But 8 or 9 was the only amount of traits that he could get in there, and you see he has 8 traits. So he knows that he needs at least 8 traits. 8 is better than 9, because then if you have 9, then you have a chance of getting a trait that you don't want. But you can see he has 8 traits in, and then he pops the Tome, and that's the highest chance of him getting an admin, and he gets an admin. And now what's the next admin? Admin 4 is on ally death, admins gain 40 mana, or they gain 15 permanent maximum HP. Now he actually doesn't go for mana a second time there. I think it's because, you know, the strength of the gain mana falls off pretty significantly. Most of the time, as soon as an ally dies and you gain 40 mana, that's like enough mana. You don't really need 80 mana. It's like probably overkill. So he ends up just going for admins gain 15 max health as soon as an ally, for every friendly unit that dies. So cool to see how far he's pushing the boundaries of these things that are widely known as, you know, RNG based aspects of the game, and he's really showing how much skill there really is to it if you understand every aspect of it. Now he does this play here where he chooses to level to 7 and then roll down all his gold. Now, if you are a gold or platinum player and you do a play like this, you look like an idiot. But because he understands the aspects of how much value it is to roll on level 7 in this spot, he looks like a genius when he does it. And he ends up getting rewarded by finding an Urgot on level 7, a bit of a 1% chance there. Now I know you're about to say like, oh, this is the Mona Lisa game of TFT, just hit an Urgot on level 7. But it's like, he went to level 7 because of how much value there is in finding 4-cost units, and it gives him the highest chance of hitting this LeBlanc 2 because he's starting his streak, right? He wants to continue this streak and he thinks his board is really strong. He has a 2-item LeBlanc, he has 4 admin in, and there's so much value in rolling on level 7 because he can hit so many different frontline units. Hitting any legendary would really spike his board, and you can see that, you know, yeah, he gets this Urgot, but that's just how the game works. He could have easily just stayed on level 6 and rolled for LeBlanc 2 on level 6, and he might have some more gold, but, you know, that lowers his odds of hitting this Urgot, and you know, this is one of the ways how he saw this line. And you can see he's rolling even deeper on level 7 because now that he did get this 3-win streak, he wants to continue his win streak even further. And now, another string of insane plays. You're thinking, why did he just itemize this Rammus, and why does he have this Rammus on his board instead of this Annie? Well, it's for tailoring his augments for the next set of, for the next chance of him getting this hero augment. Now, it is not a 100% chance. He could get gold, gold, gold here. But the thing is that it's like a really high chance for him to get a hero augment. And you can see that's exactly why he had this Rammus on his board, because he didn't want Spellslinger in and he didn't want Oxforce in. If it was 3-3-3, which it was, then he would have the chance of hitting Sona and he'd have the chance of hitting Alistar. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the Sona hero augment and the Alistar hero augment are not very good, especially for his spot. He does not want either of those. He wants to guarantee that he gets this LeBlanc, so he throws the Rammus in. The Rammus makes it so that his only augments that he sees for tailoring the hero augment is admin and hacker, which means he's guaranteed to see LeBlanc, and then he's guaranteed to see Zoe, and then threat doesn't count for anything. You can always get threat in the pool. Like the threat is always in the pool of traits that you can get. So if you have a threat in or you don't have a threat in, then it does not matter. You can always see threats, you can always not see threats. So the Rammus didn't affect it at all. So he's guaranteed hacker, he's guaranteed admin, hacker, random. Hacker, admin, random. So he saw his first three, and it was the LeBlanc support augment, but he wanted the LeBlanc carry augment. And since he knew that he was guaranteed to hit it, since it was 3-3-3, he insta rerolled with utmost confidence, and then he hit the trait that he wanted to see. And then you're thinking, okay, well, why did he itemize the Rammus? Because he could have easily just put the items on this Alistar. He ended up putting the items on Alistar the next turn anyways. Well, that's because in case the augment is something like 4-4-4, and let's say he gets, you know, hacker, he gets a Zed. He's not going to want to play Zed. And then let's say he gets like a random threat, Belveth, you know, maybe Aesol. He's not going to want either of those either. And then maybe the last one is like Sejuani or Zac or something because it's completely random. Well, then he would be forced to play around the tank carry hero augment, and then he would then sell the Rammus and put the items on the tank with the augment that is one of the carry augments for his front line. So he's not only tailoring his board for the perfect chances of getting LeBlanc, but then he's using his items on units that he knows that he can sell and replace with just in case he gets a hero augment that is on a frontline unit that he's forced to play because of the chances of that being the best augment at the time. Now, of course, he saw the line, he saw into the future, he knows that he needs the LeBlanc to win, he tailors his board perfectly for that, he gets the LeBlanc, and now he has an aim assist LeBlanc with 3 items, and he's set himself up to win the lobby. And also, yes, he did hit this Urgot very early in the game, but you might see, like, you'll notice that he has this LeBlanc too for a very long time. So he high rolled this Urgot, and then he eventually ends up low rolling this LeBlanc because, you know, he ends up rolling a lot of gold later on in the game, and he does not hit LeBlanc as early as I think, you know, you should hit a 3-cost 3-star. You high roll in some aspects, you low roll in other aspects. Since he's rolling for 3-cost rerolls, or since he's rolling for 3-cost 3 stars, he's able to find an Echo 2 on level 7, and he was holding Alistar just in case he got an Alistar 3, but then as soon as he found an Echo 2, he says, you know what, this Echo holds these items better. He sells his Alistar and puts the items on this Echo. He finally ends up losing his streak there, but it's okay because his board is still very powerful. Now I want to point your attention to this Hackerim. He's had Hacker on his board for a while, ever since he had Zoe on his board. And if you do not know, there's this interaction with on ally death with the Hackerim. Apparently, the Hackerim counts as a unit, and as soon as it dies, it triggers the on ally death effect. Like, as soon as it sends your unit into backline and then disappears, that counts as a unit dying. So not only is the on ally death really strong as like a 2-piece for admins, the on ally death your admins gain 40 mana, it also abuses the interaction with the Hackerim. And if you want to watch the fight, you can see as soon as the Hackerim sends this Alistar into the backline and then dies, the admins instantly gain 40 mana. Now, why does that happen? I'm not sure. I don't think that's intended, but, you know, That's another piece of knowledge that he's utilizing to guarantee he gets this first place. And you also might be thinking, why is he hackering this Alistar into the backline? Well, he does want as many units on his board to die as possible because he has the HP stacking admin. So he's okay with sending like random units into the backline for them to die, just in case he's that much stronger than his opponent and they don't kill enough units in the first place. And also, most of the time, it's only beneficial to send LeBlanc into the backline when you know it's going to work out. And Alistar CCing backline units often is more impactful than Alistar CCing frontline units. So you can see this Alistar in the backline, he's just making, you know, he's making this Samira's day terrible because this Samira just has a cow right in front of her, just knocking her up every single instance that he can. And he's able to get this LeBlanc now. He ended up rolling so much gold. You can see he's still stuck on level 7 and it's about to be the end of stage 5. He was able to get a LeBlanc on Carousel with the admin spat, which was another, you know, massive high roll that had to happen. And look at exactly how he's able to position against some of the highest level players in the game. The way that he maneuvers his units to place his LeBlanc into the hack room, whether or not he wants to hack room his LeBlanc or not, is just a sight to behold. He's always mixing up the spots of his units, and you never know whether or not he's going to hack room this LeBlanc, or hack room just a random frontline unit, or hack room nothing. And he's able to catch XDD off guard there, and he just hack rooms his aim assist LeBlanc 3-item carry into the backline, one taps this MF. Half of that team's damage just disappears, and he's able to just easily win that fight. See, he's able to level to 8 here. He finds a Nunu, and then, man, like, look at the traits on his board. Like, he just understands this comp path, this comp tree so well. He's able to level up for this Nunu. It gives him both Gadgettine and Mascot. Seems like he knows like every possible line. It seems like he knows every single way to play around every situation. He's holding on Mordekaiser, I think, because there are some people that are wanting to play 4 ace, and he's making sure that Mordekaiser is out of the pool so they can't hit. And you can see the way that he positions here. I kind of almost want to go back, because look at the way that he maneuvers his units. He had Alistar in the Hex, but he doesn't want to quick swap his Alistar with his LeBlanc because then his Alistar would be in the backline. So he quick swaps his Nunu so that when he swaps his LeBlanc into the hack room Hex with the Nunu, the Alistar is now in the front and the Nunu is in the back, instead of the Alistar being in the back and the Nunu being in the front. Just really precise and quick movements like that, so that he's not able to show his hand too early. He doesn't want to just leave his LeBlanc in this hack room, because then when his opponent scouts him, he's going to be able to see that the LeBlanc is coming straight for him, and then he gives his opponent time to position for it. It is now a top 3 situation here. He's going up against Liquid Robin Songs, who have been streaking for most of the game. He has a Leona 2 with a Bramble and an Anima Visage. What does he want here? He wants Hacker. He just wants to empower his LeBlanc unit. 3 Hacker makes it so that his LeBlanc gains 25% more Omnivamp. I'm going to slow down this next play here so I can give it a full breakdown. He had this Tear and Cloak for a really long time, but he chose not to slam it because he was playing around Exiles, right? He didn't have any use for this Chalice. He was trying to greed a better item for this Urgot, hoping that he farmed something better. But since it's the last fight, you know, he's going to use everything that he has. And he's fighting against Liquid Robin, and he knows that Robin has very little backline access. So instead of greeting the Exiles value, he just wants this LeBlanc to do more damage because he knows it's not going to be in any immediate danger, and he chooses to put the LeBlanc in the Chalice. Now, is that the difference between him winning the fight or losing the fight? No, of course not. With so many of the decisions that he made, you know, it's just him barely edging out his opponent in, you know, very small ways. And that play is a perfect way to wrap this game up, because it shows that how many little things that he's doing to give himself an edge over the competition. You know, if you have a friend that's like plat or diamond and they're just sitting there like, man, this game is all luck. Every single game I play, I just low roll. There's nothing I could have done. You know, just show them this video, man. There's always something that you can do. If you like the video, like it. I'll see you in the next one.